This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, February 18th, 2026 meeting of the North Haven Board of Finance. We will have our regular meeting this evening, followed by budget workshops for 3 of our town departments: registrar, the assessor, the town clerk, tax collector, and the police department. And that will be roughly about 7 o'clock or so, depending on how quickly we get through our agenda here. We could start with the minutes of the last meeting, which is on the 21st. Take a motion to start, please.
Second.
Any conversation, discussion, comments on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Just for the record, as far as correspondence, we did get 3 letters which are included in our packets. 2 of them were supportive of the need for firefighters in the town of North Haven. The other one was a longer letter. It has to do with the Board of Ed's plans to add schools. It's a long letter asking for quite a bit of information.
I'd just like to add to the person who wrote the third letter, I believe, can we say who it is?
Sorry, Nancy, what?
Can we say who it is?
That's public, man.
Yeah,
It's public
I think so.
record.
It's Anna Buono. So I would just like to thank Ms. Buono for this very detailed email. Of course, we appreciate all correspondence with the Board of Finance. I appreciated the first 2 letters as well about the fire department. But Ms. Buono really went into great detail, asking really thoughtful questions about the presentation and proposed timeline for the 4 elementary school projects. And so I would just like to commend her on all of the time and effort that went into generating this email. And I would really love for this Board of Finance to also have the answers to many of these questions as well. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right. What's that? Right, okay. All right, thank you, Nancy. Why don't we move on to our regular report, starting with the revenue for the town, please? I guess I'll just say by quick overview, we did collect $1 million of our, 1.1 million actually, almost, of our ECS grant. Collections came in nicely at 33.4 million, and we've collected 94% of the taxes billed for the town. We were once again strong in interest on short-term investments. We're running strongly on payment in lieu of taxes. We are down, I should say, below budget, if you will, on town clerk fees, building fees, and fire fees, and I think that's consistent with what we've been talking about for many months now. So, any comments, questions from the members?
One question, just looking at this exact same time last year, I noted that the supplemental auto tax current last year was at 86.3%, and it's currently at only 65.5%. I just wondered if you had any insights about that.
I don't. I think the $1.2 million, which has been there for a long time, as far as I can remember. I mean, it's really hard to budget that number because you don't know what new car is going to be registered in town, right?
Yeah, but last year at this time we had collected about 968,000, and so this year only about 786.
I just paid mine. You'll see them in the next month. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure they'll push us right over the top. Yep.
Other comments, questions on the revenue here? Okay, let's go to the expense side. Just open this one up to questions from any of the members or comments, either one.
When I make a comment to Mr. Monaco about bank fees, I didn't know we were going to get slapped in the face here, but on page 5 of the $80,000 allocation for bank fees for the year, I guess We got part of a bill, it got 78,000 in 1 month.
You jinxed us. You jinxed us.
It's all your fault.
I jinxed you.
They bill yearly,
They only bill once a year.
right.
That is the strangest bank billing I've ever heard of. Okay, thank you.
But I think it was pointed out that.
You're under budget. Congratulations, you're under budget.
I think it was also pointed out last time that
Yeah.
this was a change that the finance department made. We're getting an earnings credit allowance on the, right? We're getting interest actually, is what
Yeah,
we're now.
the earnings
We're getting interest instead of earnings credit to offset the fees, so. There is an income component that's not shown against those fees.
I'm sure Ms. Monaco had some tough terms for these finance people. That's how we do so well with the short-term investment rate. Very good.
On that same page, page 5, under contingent fund, I see that we have $200,000 under encumbrance. I assume this is for the ladder truck?
Yes. the
But it
payment-
hasn't, we haven't received a bill, we haven't paid it?
The
What-
payment is in June. So that's
June?
why we, yes.
Wow,
It was
Okay.
the terms we set when we
Right.
did it.
okay, because it's a single payment?
Single payment.
Wow, June, all right, thank you.
I think that first payment was less, right? The next year's
Yeah,
payment's
next
higher.
one's
right?
at 216, was it, to
Yeah.
the, whatever the budget,
Right,
It's in the capital.
to the capital expense.
okay.
And obviously, everyone on the board's seen the page 12, the effects of our tough winter. So far. But it is what it is.
Interesting, Mike, so we ask about individual lines, right? And I was almost going to ask Ingrid or Rich about the department, because obviously we're way over, but I think that's probably the answer, right?
It's all related to the storms.
Yeah.
The amount of salt they've been putting down, and all that overtime is strictly been plowing.
On page 6, there's an encumbrance for maintenance and repairs. I know we've been doing that, but is there, what's that encumbrance specifically for?
20,000 town building.
20,000.
Section,
409.
yeah,
That's, I think that's just open things. We had the water problem. That was for
the boiler and annex went down, there was a water heater problem, we had a problem with the elevator. There's a bunch of items that had all rolled into, there's a
Okay,
lot of
that's
little
what-
bills catching up.
All right.
Elevator inspections.
I didn't know if it was one thing, multiple.
No, it's a bunch of big things, fortunately.
In general, I noticed our maintenance and repairs are up quite a bit across
Yeah.
various departments.
Yep.
That's one of the things that I noticed.
The biggest boiler in annex which supplies heat to annex and rec. And then out. It's, there's one large boiler, there's two small boilers. We were keeping the building, actually, upper 50 low 60s. It took them a week to replace the boiler, the big boiler. That was probably a $70,000 item when it all got done, between the electrical and the mechanical.
On page 3, under building inspection overtime,
Yeah, I had that one.
And again, same before, on page 4, the consultant, we don't have the consultant doing it, we have staff doing it, it allows some overtime, but
Okay,
overall,
so-
if you look at the two
so that
numbers,
washes.
it kind of washes, yeah.
okay.
Any other comments, questions from the members? We'll see. The report shows we're about 64% expended, which is a little bit on the high side for this time of year. About 1% encumbered. We've spent, I think, almost all of our debt service already, probably another 5%. So we're probably down around 59%, which is about where we should be for the end of January. Nothing else, we can go on to the Board of Ed reports. Two things I will say. The Board of Ed at their meeting recently is going to move the $291,000 that was in their non-lapsing fund over the medical and dental insurance reserve accounts, and they put in a spending freeze as of 1/1/26. Anything the members would like to say or comment on?
Well, I just, could they just send a memo to clarify the medical? I mean, I know I'm doing this every single month, but this is absolutely a little hard to follow here. It,
You got the sheet I gave?
which, yeah, shows the claims, good. I'm talking about their budgeting and how they expense and pay for it all.
Could you just be more specific, Mike, because if I want to ask a question, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to right now.
Okay. They gave us 2 months' worth of expenses here for December and for January. And let me see here. The January, first of all, that shows what they spend on each line per month, in that given month. They just
That's
have
a
it.
change. They had been doing that.
They have been doing, they just have a year-to-date actual, so we have to do the math,
Right.
which sometimes we can do. So, year-to-date actual on the medical insurance for December. Oh, it's the 2606 report. 4.7 million, in encumbrances, 2.5 million. Okay, I guess. Then, the following month, it is...
690.
You're right. It went from 4.7 to 6.6. So is that a difference of 2.9?
Yes.
No, it's a
No,
difference
one-
of
1.9.
1.9. So 1.9 they took out of encumbrances and threw it into their budget, threw it into their expense line budget. Now, my question first is, on page 1 of their report, where, on top of page 2, where they say the medical reserve account is $2.5 million. Does that include the number that's in the encumbrances?
Sorry, Mike, you lost me even. So, I see the 4,770,000, the 2,506,000, right? I get that. Then you're referring to
Right. so-
January, the 6.6 and the 6.90, right? Or were you not?
The 6.6,
Yes.
Yes.
6.6.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, so, and your comment on the numbers is what?
is if that is their actual, year-to-date actual and what they're, does that represent the year-to-date actual and what they've spent so far for claims and other expenses, plus,
Okay, they did load up the account with, I think, the first 8 months of the year. That was, I think it's in the overview, Mike, and I think it was in, I also happen to know because I saw the Board of Ed meeting, but so if we look at the 6,672 in January compared to the 7,6 budget, it looks like they've expended a lot of it, right? It shows 96% expended, right? But they moved some of their money into their accounts, I think, to get, they said additional interest income is what I saw.
They have been getting interest
Yeah,
since
Right.
last year.
Yeah.
This is not, yes.
I don't know if that answers your question, Mike, but that's all the knowledge.
they moved 1.9 million from encumbrances into their expense side, the year-to-date expense side.
Right.
But with it, but the 2.5 million, that is their reserves, is that the leftover unexpended money in the expense account plus the amount in the encumbrances?
That the report is cash basis, that's only what they have in the bank.
Yeah.
They show the IBNR on that page as well, Mike.
So it, Okay, so it doesn't include anything in the encumbrance section.
They did fund
no.
it, 1.8 million, the fund.
They funded,
From their budget to the medical fund, they did put a $1.8 million there.
right,
Yes,
okay.
Which brought their cash up to the
Which
2.5.
Brought their
Cash up.
cash up to the 2.5.
right.
So
Because
that's what,
again, realize they're strictly talking cash in their reports. We don't deal that way.
All right.
Their reserves are tight. Right now, it appears that they're shifting money from other lines to shore up medical.
I think Mike's question, now that I understand, was that we've got 2.5 million in the, I guess that's the December 2026 as an encumbrance, right?
Right.
And so he's asking, is that reflected in either the cash in the reserve or the balance after the IBNR? I'm assuming it's not, right?
I don't
Because
think
it's only an
IBNR is figured
encumbrance,
in there at all, yeah.
right? It just means that we know that we have a liability coming, right?
all right, from this right here, from this sheet right here,
Yep.
we can tell how much through December they have spent on their medical and dental expenses, right? Okay, but not,
That's why I find these reports easier to read than their report.
yeah.
But shouldn't they match?
Well, it's hard to match when this is, one's December and the other one's, well, they gave us the December report too. They gave us the
No, yeah,
December information as well. Okay, all right, it's just, it's very cloudy between the fact that they don't show us what the line item is for what they spend per month for any of the line items.
Well, why don't we have that as a takeaway? Could we ask why they changed the form of the reports, please, Ingrid? And why they didn't show us the monthly expenditure, please?
Okay.
And there's nothing in their expense report that shows what they're actually spending on medical, it's just what they put in the medical account. That gives them the $2.5 million reserve balance.
Well, that's no different than the town side.
Right,
That's the same thing we do on the town side.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, that's my only comments.
Thank you, Mike. Other members?
Yeah, the certified professional tech, the budget was 92, and then the encumbrance, it's like 122 cents more.
Are you on the January or December report? 06 is December.
06 or 07?
07 is January.
Yeah,
Which one?
Top left.
this is the 26.
26,
I know it's
07 or
06.
06?
06 or 07?
Yeah, 06.
It's December. So sorry, Gary.
No, I just noted that number has grown.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
could you
yeah.
just say again, please, what you're looking at?
So I'm looking at the certified professional tech and the
What line?
original.
What numbers are you?
330F, isn't Frank?
So the original was 92,000, and then if you go over and look at the encumbrances and the available budget, it's 122.5% used. So there's, I don't know.
That's after transfer of
Yeah.
40,000, by the way.
Yep, so what's going on with the line item? That just stood out to me.
Agreed. Also, to Mr. Hallahan's point about the medical and dental insurance, I just want to point out, if anyone is looking back at previous months, that line item, 201B as in boy, is now called medical/dental insurance. It used to be called hospital insurance, and it might be a little bit confusing because 2 lines down from that, we also have a line item that's called dental insurance. So that line item, medical and dental, should refer to this reserve analysis that we get, but I just wanted to point that out. And that change, I think, started in November. I also noted the change, there was no month-to-date, which makes it difficult. And also, looking at this reserve analysis for both medical and dental and workers' comp, it still is not clear to me that all of the reserve money should go to medical and dental and none to workers' comp, because even with IBM analysis, I still am seeing a $1.5 million deficit here.
So when you say all the money, I'm not sure what you mean.
Meaning, back in December, the Board of Finance voted to split the surplus funds, or the unexpended funds from the previous year, $191 for medical and dental and $100,000 to workers' comp.
Well, we didn't vote on that.
No, I'm not saying we did. They did.
Oh.
They voted, and that was based on their Board of Ed meeting. And then the money just sat in their fund that they ultimately transferred it from. So the question is, why did they make that change? I don't really see in any of their language the reasoning for that change in their original vote to now they want to put all of the money into the medical and dental. Also, I think Diane has pointed this out before, the very first line item, salary contingency. This is the very first year, meaning the current fiscal year, in which the Board of Ed has had this line item, and it just seemed to disappear in terms of its the total amount in that budget line back in, I want to say, November. And it wasn't that it was spent, it was just simply transferred, and I don't really have a sense for how that money has actually been utilized. At one point, they were talking about using about $50,000 of it to pay for the paraprofessionals who received additional training, but then they became registered behavior technicians, and we have brand new line item, 112S, to specifically pay for them. So I'd love to be able to better understand where this $275,000 went under salary contingency.
And then if you look at certified differentials, they had an appropriation of 10,000 and it's way beyond 115A. Available budget, but, they way over. What is that? That's a question.
I think we have to remember, look.
I'm writing those questions down.
Yeah.
I think we have to remember, look, I think we have oversight here, right? But we all know from the board that the Board of Ed has the right to transfer money amongst accounts, right? And we need to understand what they do, because it impacts our ability to, frankly, set the next year's budget, and that's been somewhat of a challenge this year, right? So I think it's possible, for instance, on the account Diane just mentioned, which was a certified differential, they're just over budget. I think some of the more unusual things, like the salary contingency, that shows a zero budget, maybe that's a question we need to ask.
Yeah, I mean, my reason for bringing it up is we're seeing it now and it's the beginning of the year. That's kind of why I questioned it.
No, it's not. They're 7 months in.
Yeah, well, I guess. But all of a sudden it jumped.
Right.
Yeah. A lot.
Right.
Could I just ask one quick question on medical? This sheet here, this is total costs, including employee contributions. So it's the total cost of the program.
Yes.
That's inclusive of both employer and employee related expenses or contributions.
Well, these are expenses. There's no income on this piece of paper.
No,
is
but
there?
it shows,
Yeah.
I mean, it is very involved where these numbers come from, and I can't give you, I'll write you up a synopsis that tells you which each one of these columns means. Will that help?
No, I just like to know, I added up here, and the total cost so far in the first 6 months seems to be 4.9 million, approximately. All right? Where it says budget, you have costs and you have rates, I don't know. Anyway, the total, right? The fifth
I
column
mean, there's
from the right?
fifth column
The fifth column from the right,
medical and
cost.
Pharmacy budget,
Medical and pharmacy plan cost.
that's fixed cost plus rebate plus net claim, or minus net claims.
Yeah, that's the cost. Right there, right? That is the cost of the Board of Ed's medical self-insurance, right?
Yes.
That's it. So I added that up, those 6 months below, it comes to approximately 4.9 million. From July 25 to December 25.
Okay.
All right, so 4.9 million. Now, I tried to calculate out of their expense report, what they've spent so far. They've spent they're indicating they spent around 4.2 million. I just want to know if the employee contribution is the other 700,000. So just how much did the employees contribute in the first 6 months of '25? That's my question.
He has it in his sheet. If you look,
It says Gary.
employee contributions, $1,088,000, is it?
Sorry, Rich, what page, what are you looking at, please?
This part.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll check that out. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else? I'll take a motion on the reports, please. Second, please.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. All right, we've got 3 resolutions here, which we're going to cover. Why don't we actually take them in reverse order? I'm guessing that either Rich or Mike is going to speak on these, so Rich, why don't you take the 300,000 for the masonry repairs and abatement for the town building,
All right,
please?
the 300, which we've now changed to 400. But there's basically 3 things that were discovered during the renovation town hall. One is we did have a problem with asbestos, which probably makes up about $200,000 of that cost. When we were looking exterior to the building, which was never in our scope of work, we realized the chimney is in dire need to be rebuilt, completely taken down and brought back up. You could actually see through the joints. And during the process of renovation, we found code problems with the electrical that needs to be addressed. We're looking for 400, hopefully it'll cost us less than that, but it's in that area.
As far as the gym is concerned, we made a decision to restore the chimney because the building was built in 1886, so it's an historic building. So we wanted to make sure that the chimney was restored, and that's part of this. And I'm going to be talking a little bit in a few minutes after we go through these resolutions. Each resolution here represents a very symbolic matter that I'm going to share with everybody as we get through this.
So, Rich, is it the thought here that we'd take a ban for these and then
Yeah,
put a
we'll
bond
we'll
later
take a
on?
ban and then bond at the end. All 3 of these would be bonded.
Okay. All right.
And is it that each one of these will go to a town meeting?
It all goes to
It all
town
goes
meeting.
I assume.
Right.
Okay, I have to ask.
All right, why don't we do this? I should have read the resolution first.
Okay.
Let me read the resolution, we'll get it for a second, see if there's any questions or comments on it, please. So, resolved that the Board of Finance recommends that the town of North Haven appropriate the sum of $400,000 for the interior renovations to Memorial Town Hall. The funds appropriated shall be expended for engineering and other consulting services, asbestos abatement, exterior masonry, restoration, electrical modifications, construction costs, legal costs, net temporary interest and other financing costs, and other expenses related to the project, and that the town issue bonds or notes and temp notes in an amount not to exceed $400,000 to finance the appropriations. If I could have a motion, please.
Make a motion.
Second, please?
Second.
Okay, so apologize. Comments, questions for Rich on this one, please?
So this is $400,000 in addition to what was appropriated previously in a bond?
Yeah, what was appropriated previously was the ceilings, the floors, some HVACs and such in the building. Exterior building was never part of the renovation package.
Well, and the asbestos is new, you didn't know
The town
that.
Yeah,
did not, we
these
knew
are all
there was
new
asbestos,
things.
and we didn't expect to have to abate as much asbestos as we had to. And the last one is we're finding some code issues with electrical that should have been dealt with probably 10 years ago. But I'm not going to let it just go, so I need to fix them.
So how much of the original bond was appropriated for this particular project?
For these three items?
No, for this first item, because I seem to recall this was part
There was,
of a
that was,
bigger
that was
package.
renovation, yes, there was an $800,000 bonding issue for town hall,
Yes,
but it did not include these three items.
I see. So all
It
of the
didn't include abatement,
$800,000 would have
It
been
didn't include
covering this.
exterior masonry, and it didn't include electrical modifications for code compliance.
Okay,
These are over and above that.
Right.
Yes.
100,000.
so it's going from 800,000 to now 1.2, right?
Yes.
Any other questions for Rich on this, please? I'll call for a vote then, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Bob, would you mind reading the second resolution, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends that the town of North Haven appropriate the sum of $900,000 for the Kings Highway Bridge project, thus increasing the total appropriation for the project to $2,100,000. The appropriation may be spent for engineering fees or consultant fees, construction costs, net temporary interest and other financing costs, legal fees, and other expenses related to the project, and that the town issue bonds or notes and temporary notes in an amount not to exceed $900,000 to finance the appropriation. The total amount of bonds issued shall be reduced by the amount of grants or funds received and not separately appropriated for the project. Such grants and other funds are anticipated to be approximately $450,000 of the LOT CIP funds.
I'll move the resolution. Is that a typo, though? Is it LoSiP or
Lo-
LoT?
No, it's
Lots of,
T.
It is a T still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two different things.
Okay.
yeah, they sound close, but they're
All right.
different.
Let me just have a second, Rich.
Second.
All right. So why don't we go to discussion?
All right. Basically, a year ago, so we appropriated roughly 1.2 million for Kings Highway. The town engineers gotten some numbers in, there's been design work done, and now the projected cost is 2.1 million, which we have a 50-50 split with the state.
What is this? Is it stormwater? What is it?
It's a bridge, it's a little
Oh,
bridge
it's a
on Kings
bridge.
Highway.
Yeah, so let me jump in here, okay? So Rich is right. So this is a bridge that has collapsed twice. And this is another example, item number one and item number two, how the costs in this government continue to go up, and I'm not happy about it. Everything we do, it costs more money. A road used to be 200,000, now it's 300,000. Resolution number one, another example of increased costs and things that we find out when we start doing the first part of the renovation. This here, this has gone up again, and this has to be done because we can't have this bridge collapse. This bridge collapsed at one of the tornadoes a few years ago. We repaired it, it collapsed again. So this is a real problem right now. This is on the corner of Mount Carmel and Kings Highway, a major thoroughway. If you drive there now, you will go and you will hit an indentation, meaning a suppression in the pavement itself. So this has to get done, and that's why we're putting this resolution on.
Thank you, Mike. Comments or questions on this resolution, please?
So is this an expanded scope or the exact same scope, but
Same
the
scope.
components are more expensive?
Same scope.
Same scope.
So we
The
didn't.
costs are coming in higher than the engineers first thought. We have consultants that project the numbers for us.
So we didn't lock into a certain total cost?
No, not until you go out to bid, you don't lock it, nothing's
I
locked
see,
in.
so this hasn't gone in.
The next one's a little bit different.
Give us 1 second on that.
Sure.
Anything else for Rich on this?
Once again, the 900,000 is the total town,
It's an additional cost.
the additional cost, and that additional cost will be half
Yes,
reimbursed by the state.
yes.
Yes.
To get technical on this, what we do is through my affiliation with the Regional Council of Governments, we apply for these grants, and this is this $450,000. So I push it up, working with my colleagues in the engineering department here and the transportation department at the Council of Governments. We ended up getting this authorized. So that's $450 coming back against this. So.
All right, anyone else on this item? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Mike, would you mind reading the last one, please? Mike Callahan, please.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends the town of North Haven appropriate $23 million for water pollution control facility improvements and repairs. The project shall consist of improvements and repairs to the primary clarifier, electrical distribution system, and related work at the water pollution control facility on Universal Drive. The appropriation may be spent for engineering fees, other consultants' fees, construction fees, legal fees, net temporary interest, and other financing costs, and other expenses related to the project, and that the appropriation be funded from the WPCA Sewer User Service Fee account.
All right, thank you, Mike. I'll move the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Mike or Rich, would you mind helping us in understanding this one?
Yeah, so as the resolution read, this is a bonding mechanism that is reimbursed through the enterprise fund at the sewer, with the sewer fees. So the money that goes in, for those that are on, that have sewers, goes into the enterprise fund, and that money pays for this. But we, through the protocols of the government, have to do a bond resolution to lock that in place, and it gets paid out by the revenue that comes in for everybody who pays sewer fees. Now, this is another example. Item 1, Item 2, and Item 3. No matter what we've done here, I'm going to summarize it. Built a new police station, built 4 firehouses, paved 100 miles worth of roadways, all kinds of infrastructure improvements. We still have lingering issues that are a byproduct of the age of some of these products, or products meaning the resolution is this Water Pollution Control Authority. This is very important. Without this type of upgrade, we run the risk of electrical failures, a purifier is not working, and sewer pipes breaking underneath the ground throughout the town of North Haven. That's why this is on the resolution. So, or that's why this is a resolution. Get this in place, vote on it. We bring it to the Board of Selectmen, where Bill Piper, Dave Cohen, and I will be on, and then it goes to a town meeting for the people to vote on it. That's the way it works.
All right, Richard, you just want to comment further? You and I talked a
Sure.
little bit about the calculation of the dollars here?
Yeah, well, 2 things, just to let you know. The 2 major aspects of this, which are the clarifiers and the electrical system, probably in the last year and a half, we've gone down twice and been offline and running on generators at WPCA because we've had electrical problems. The clarifiers, we have a set of clarifiers that's been offline for several years, which DEEP is not very happy about, and we need to bring them back online. Basically, the 23 million, which North Branford will pay a portion of, the 23 million, we just figured our debt service, we folded into the rate. We're pretty close right now, we're where the rate is. We may need to do a small increase again, nowhere near what last time was. And that will cover the debt. It's just a pass-through for the town, basically.
So the rate, that, the
rate should
property owners
just-
pay
yeah.
is comprised of normal operating costs?
Normal operating costs.
And this,
Normal maintenance and the debt service,
infrastructure,
the
yep.
debt service for, or the $23 million package. They probably do anywhere from $650 to $1 million a year in equipment repair every year at the plant.
I'm sure you meant thousands, by the way. I'm sure you meant thousands.
Thousands, I'm sorry. The plant needs, the biggest part of this, and the first thing they're attacking is the electrical. As I said, there's been days we've run on generators because we've had problems with power.
we have no choice.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
Yeah, if it doesn't, then it just starts backing up. The pumps need to run. So.
So I have a question. Both our agenda and I recall from the conversations at the WPCA this last fall when they were deliberating about setting the sewer usage fee rates, that the number that was quoted for this was 21 million, and now this resolution
It's
says
the last
23.
number from Viola, who was our consultant. That initially, if you looked at your agenda,
Yeah.
the agenda said, because we were looking at a $21 million project, Andy, the town engineer, got the last thing from Viola actually yesterday to make sure we had a GMP that would work, and it went to 23. Again, doesn't mean we need to borrow 23. If we can get it done for 21 or 22, that's all we borrow. But right now, the projection is 23 is what is needed.
So the town will take out this
The
bonded
town will do a ban. The ban is done, project's overseen, project's completed, then the town turns the ban into a bond, whatever it happens to be at that time.
Right. But that will be paid off by.
The enterprise fund, which the ratepayers pay.
Right, which is a combination of North Haven taxpayers that
No.
own sewer lines and also private
Businesses.
businesses that also pay.
Yeah,
into
well,
sewers.
everyone that pays sewer is paying that
Both.
service.
In North
Right, a
Branford.
different amount.
And including
And
North
North
Branford,
Branford,
which
right.
will pay, a decent portion of that.
Right, but North Branford is not taking out any loans or
They can-
bans or bonds for this.
However they pay is,
They pay.
just send me the
And
money.
do we have a sense for how much they're contributing to this?
About 9%, I think,
Is
9 or
it?
10% of the inflow.
the flow has gone up in the last few years. They may be paying 6 million of this.
Well, they they pay monthly based on usage rate. They don't pay.
They pay based on
part-
flow.
Right, they don't pay part of this.
Right, they'll just
Well,
pay into the enterprise
They
fund.
pay based on flow, so when the rate goes up,
Yes.
They're paying
right,
more.
But we're not gonna get a lump sum
no,
payment.
not a lump sum
That's
payment, it
correct.
just comes out of
Yeah.
their flow.
Okay.
Nor are we going to take 23 million up front. It's not the way it
Yeah,
works.
no, it doesn't work like that.
So It's a bond that's a draw against, and then what we draw is reimbursed by the user fees.
Exactly.
Most of which are embedded in for the residential side. Most of which are already embedded in the bill, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Other questions or comments on this item?
And does the Viola company incur any costs or risks associated with this particular?
Viola operates the plant for us, and they'll
Right.
administer the contract because they're the plant operator.
But they don't pay anything towards
No,
this?
no, we pay them.
Right,
Yeah.
no, I understand.
All right, thank you. I'll call for a vote, please. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all. The motion passes. All right, we are at the point of public comment in our meeting. I guess I would just ask any residents who are going to speak to just try and keep it relatively brief. We are running a little bit behind, and we have some department heads waiting to move to the workshop portion. So if we could put comments on the brief side, that'd be appreciated. Anyone like to speak? Mr. Criscola.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Michael, Board, Richard. Peter Criscola, 54 Fieldstone Court. I'm here tonight as a taxpayer and a fire commissioner. I'm going to ask, obviously, a little of your indulgence and give me some time. I want to talk about the fire department, how critically we need money. We need to put more personnel. We're dangerously understaffed and equipment. I know you heard it before. I was up here last month, and I'm going to be up here every month. I don't or want to knock any other department, whether it be police, Board of Ed, Public Works. I'm not saying take money from them, get rid of personnel, replace, nothing. I'm worried about the fire department. That's all I'm concerned about. Firefighters first, the town, that they have to protect. If we don't have the best fire equipment and enough personnel, we cannot protect the town, no matter what happens. Okay, we can talk about it, kick the can down the road, but we found money for bridges, we found money for buildings, we're gonna have to find money for the fire department. I have a little chart. It won't take long, trust me. It's very simple. National map of North Haven. Okay? There's things on here that are important. It's all important. We have 10 firefighters on a 24-hour shift, 7 days a week. Just 10. 4 pieces of apparatus only. That's it. We have to cover I-91, Middle Parkway, Route 40. If you take the total mileage lane mileage from all of this. We can go back and forth to New York. We have 4 pieces of apparatus that cover this, 4 pieces on a shift, 10 firefighters. We have 15 miles of railroad track that we cover. That's ours also. We have a railroad yard. People say, well, what's that? How important is that? All those beautiful silver tankers you see in there, they're filled with liquid propane and other chemicals. And those red socks that you see flying are not to land helicopters. They're to let us know, God forbid a disaster, which way the chemical's gonna blow. We just had an incident, I guess, in Middlefield, up there, a derailment. Everybody had a shelter in place, okay? Just for the record, could happen. Last 10 years, 160 derailments, just under $9 billion in problems. $9 billion. Okay. We cover approximately 20 square miles, 24,000 residents. We have 10,000 units that we cover, 8,100 single house dwellings, and the balance are apartment houses. Okay? NFPA regulations 1017 has a meaning, it's not just a number. 10 minutes, 17 firefighters, okay? We don't have 17 firefighters on a shift. We don't have 15, we have 10. So automatically out. Also has a second part to that. 4-minute response time, 4 firefighters, 1 piece of apparatus. We don't have that either. We're supposed to have 4 firefighters minimum on an engine. We go out with 3. We go out understaffed to start with. If you know anything about the fire department, when they pull up, the driver gets out, he's the pump operator. Your first jump seat is your commanding officer. He's making a search. The back seat, he's trying to hook up a line. So obviously we can't have a hydrant because we don't have enough time, so we're going to pump out of the engine. That's how that works. If we go up on any of these highways, minimally, we go up with 2 pieces of apparatus. We only have 4 total on shift. That leaves 2 sitting behind. Sometimes we go up with 3 on the highway. People say, why? That's, you need that. We need a blocking tool. 2 years ago, they say nothing could happen. 2 years ago, a driver ran into the back of one of our engines, demolished it. Okay? 40 feet long, 200 lights, broad daylight, couldn't see it, hit it. So it could happen. Our firefighters are at risk. We have the Quinnipiac River. It runs all the way down here. We cover all of that. It's just not safe. In the last, well, in 3 years, in a 36-month period, we lost 3 firefighters to heart problems, passed away, under 55 years old. We're sitting right now with 10 firefighters. We have 7 at headquarters, and we have 3 down at Mount Louise. We cover 18 gas stations in town. 18 gas stations. Potential hazard, explosion, fires, whatever they have. That's not counting the tens of thousands of vehicles that run up and down the highway, in and out of our town. It's not counting all the corporate locations we cover. It's not counting just Amazon alone that we have to cover. The other day we had a disaster on Dufco Park when someone committed suicide. He jumped in front of a train. Our guys were there. We had 2 pieces of apparatus. That left 2 more in town. You get someone that calls because their smoke detector goes off. It happens to be someone left a piece of toast. We'll lose the 3rd piece of apparatus. There's 1 piece left. It's impossible. It just can't be done. Not to mention, we talked about this last time, we have 27 whole pieces of apparatus. I know some are 12 and some are 15. They're out of time. We need to get new apparatus, but we need new firefighters. You have 1 firehouse here, and you have 1 down here. This is a 4-minute, see this? Here's our firehouse. Here's where 4 minutes brings us. We're just halfway up Washington Avenue. That's where 10 minutes brings us, to here. Below Wharton Brook. We don't even make the end of the town in 10 minutes. Not to mention, we're 7 firefighters short, no matter what happens. So it's not a lengthy presentation. I'm practically all done. These are all the corporates. You see them, gas stations. They're all done in color. People here want to see it. If you'd like me to bring it up there, I'll be happy to bring it to you. but it's dangerous now. It's no more a slippery slope. Now it's dangerous. We all want new developments. We all want them. They're putting another 150 houses up here. They're not even on the map yet. Who's gonna cover all this? Again, we wish for rain, deal with the mud now. You can't cover this. There's not enough bodies to cover this. It's ridiculous. These are the firefighters that are in other towns, okay? You have West Haven with 22 to 24 on the shift. You have Hamden with 17 to 20. You have Wallingford with 17. East Haven with 12 to 14.
Hamden has 17 to 20?
Yeah, they have 17 to 20, they said.
They have twice the population of Hamden, of North Haven.
What's the population?
No, they
It's
have
about
twice.
60,000.
In Hamden?
Yeah.
Probably, probably.
Okay,
They have volunteers also.
right.
We have 12, and we're down to like 7 active volunteers. Our firehouses are closed. Now, our volunteer houses are closed Monday to Friday, all day. They open up at 6 o'clock at night. So, are you telling me we shouldn't have any incidents between the hours of midnight and 6 p.m. the following night, 1800 hour? Come on. You can't cover this ground. It's physically impossible. It can't be done. I told you, there's enough highway lane mileage to go back and forth to New York. It's absurd. We're the only town that's understaffed by that much. Now, I know you're telling me New Haven, they're huge, they're one of the biggest cities in the state, and they're gonna be the biggest in the state in 2 years, I know that. They go to a scene with 20 firefighters minimum, 20. I mean, even a small car fire, they go with 15. We just cannot handle this. You're burning the men out. You're burning the firefighters out. It's a close fraternity. I know it sounds like that I'm preaching all the time about the fire department. I call them my firefighters this. Yes, it's not just a commissioned firefighter, okay? It's like a family. I've been there 25 years. It's not like, well, that's bad so-and-so, bad so-and-so. No. They're family. And I see these guys and I talk to them. And they're beat up. They're beat up. Some of these firefighters are going in on a job and they're changing their Scott pack twice. They're changing their tank twice. Not good. Not good. You need a relief. Again, I hate to keep bringing it up. We lost 3 firefighters under 55 years old. I'm concerned about that. I really am concerned about that. And I think the town should be. And again, we can't protect the town. My firefighters are first. They gotta be protected first. Otherwise, they can't protect the town. It's like a stewardess tells you on a plane, okay? We're going down, put your mask on first so you can breathe and help the guy next to you. If your mask is no good, you both die. Well, that's what happens with my firefighters. They need to have more bodies with them. They need that. They can't do it. And they can't rely on a 27-year-old backup piece because 20 years, it's out of service. 25 years, it's out of service as a backup piece. We're 27. And I know, Rich, we have 16-year-old units, and they're breaking down. Check how much it's costing us. We have a lot of trucks sitting on Washington Avenue. I don't know what we paid for it used. And then we had it fixed, another 60, 70,000. Now it's laid up with no motor. The motor is gone. It's $100,000 to repair a motor on an old ladder truck that we're gonna wind up scrapping. We're taking parts off it now. I understand that all departments need money. I understand that. Our community is building. We have a wonderful first selectman. He's able to do 2 jobs. God bless him. Save us money. Bring economic development into this town. But we got to protect what we have first. We need to protect our firefighters first. And then the people of the town, and then the property. I know you're going to say we don't have these major fires. Listen, one fire in a garage could kill somebody. It doesn't have to be a major 5-story building fire. Now we're building all these new apartment buildings. The new ones on Washington Avenue. What do they call it? The bridge? It looks like the Bronx. It's all built up over there. Across the street, there's 3 more high-rises. Vigliotti's building all new ones on Clintonville Road. They're building new ones on the end of Warner Road, Benedict. Who's going to cover all this? It's absurd. It's absurd. Universal Drive is building hotels. They're putting in those little pod stores. and pod restaurants. Who's gonna cover all that stuff? We just had a call tonight. 2 apparatus went out for carbon monoxide. 2 apparatus went out. We lost 5 firefighters out of a shift of 7. How does that work? Not too good. Not too good. I don't want to be the third call because it's not going to happen. And mutual aid, we can't keep dependent on mutual aid. The surrounding towns get tired of that too. They get tired of covering us. We have to cover ourselves. And I know it's a big stretch, but we need the funds. We need the funds, and I hope you guys, women, could get into this, and you could find a way, budget, capital, look for grants. And I know you're gonna tell me about grants. After they run out, we have to start paying. It's like everything else. It's like everything else in life. You just said that what happened with that bridge 2 years later, we went up from 1.2 million to 2.2 million. That's just hesitation. We waited. It's $1 million more. You don't want to take the engine that's coming in. It's 1.3. It's coming in next year in 27. Don't take it. Don't take it. Wait 2 more years. It'll be 2 million. And you'll have another 36 months to 40 months to get it. And then we'll have all this other equipment that's 17 years old. That'll all be 21 years old in 4 years. And then we're right back where we started from. We're behind the 8 ball. Fire department, I'm sorry to say, is very unique. It's not a department that we can go out right down the road to Bob Thomas and pick up a car immediately, or go to a McDermott, now it's Crabtree, and get a car right away. We need it right away. No. It's a 36 to 48 month wait for a piece of equipment. Same thing with firefighters. And why we don't get the pool that every other town gets? Because we're the lowest paid in the circle. We're the lowest paid. Everybody gets paid more than we do. So we don't get that influx of firefighters or candidates that want to come on. They rather go next door. One step over the line, they make $10,000 a year more. Doesn't seem like much to a young person sitting out in life with a family. It's a lot of money, trust me. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, again, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
appreciate
Pasquale.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to speak this evening? All right, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Make a motion.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll take a minute and move right to the workshop. Why don't we take Gary first, the registrar, Stacy, and then the police department. I'm just gonna get a drink of water. I'll be right back. All right, why don't we move to the workshop portion? Gary, why don't you go ahead, do me a favor, please, Gary, and the board a favor, just reference your page numbers when you're speaking, please.
Okay, we'll start with page 22.
Go right ahead, Gary.
And we really, other than some shifting in the personnel lines, the operating expenses are pretty much, are exactly the same as what they've been in previous years, except for a slight increase in the software packages that we use. Any questions on any of those items?
Do you want to just talk about the person here?
I can't really, I don't do personnel, but
All right.
Is there anyone else in the audience that can talk to the personnel?
Well, the idea is we're trying to replace Gary with a full-time assessor.
Right.
We left some dollars in the part-time line with the transition. Unfortunately, we keep looking, and we're not finding. We thought we had somebody that was interested in the position, and then in the last minute, they decided to stay where they were.
Is there a mandatory retirement age? Because Gary looks fine to me.
There's,
I
the
don't
problem
care.
is, there's a lot of certifications, and they're not an easy thing to obtain. So, the
Mike, you
dollars
got-
are here to fix it. if we
maybe
can-
Mike wants to go for
Yeah.
certification.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm qualified.
But as he said, other than that, his budget's pretty flat-lined.
So you're looking to hire from the outside
Yeah.
as opposed to promote from
We,
within?
well, I'll take someone inside if they have the certifications.
Okay.
It's a general shortage throughout the state of certified assessors, and we've had it on the market for many, many months, and we had one certified assessor that applied for it, which didn't pan out. It's difficult for all the towns around. East Haven, who I work with, has been without somebody for 4 years, almost 5 years. Certainly, I hope it doesn't take us that long. It's getting up though. So it's very difficult. It's a real problem that I think the state needs to address at some point. It's too late now, really, but on the whole process of certification and training for the positions. So, but right now, as it sits right now, it's there's a shortage, and it's difficult to find anybody that's willing to move from their present situations. So, that's the way we sit right now.
And have you had a change in the senior clerk? I'm just seeing the number change from this year to next year. Change in personnel.
We brought in a person.
No, we did that, that was last year.
And she does general assessor work, but one of her primary duties is the sewer collections that we have taken on.
That's the senior clerk. Okay.
All right, anything else, Gary?
The other, page 23 is the Board of Assessment Appeals, which is, again, pretty flat-funded. We had a number of appeals last year because of the reval, and they're coming in now. February 20th is the deadline for appeals this year, so that's this Friday. So we have a few coming in. It's not going to be extensive, I don't believe, unless the last few days they really start to come in. So these should be more than adequate the amount should be more than adequate for their salary payments. The Board of Assessment Appeals is mandated by state statute that they get paid the only board or commission in the municipal government that has that requirement. So, but they, you know, it's a minimum wage kind of payment, but it's still, it's something that we have to do.
So who currently is the assessor?
I am.
Gary's assessor.
Okay, so even though you're part-time, you are the assessor?
Yeah.
Okay. And when will this board be receiving the grand list long printout that we get every year?
That- Yeah, well, that's
We
a
can-
standard
when we do
request.
revenue, we'll
That's a
send it
standard
through.
request we make for the
Yeah.
March meeting.
There's a report.
Well,
for
time to
the
get it
annual-
earlier, 'cause it's
the finals-
available the end of
Finals in
January.
March, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the final that goes to the state reporting is actually in May, but we generally get it out sooner than that, because that, after the Board of Assessment Appeals meets, which is the first week in March, that's when it really gets nailed down to the final amount. So right now, January 31st is the first amount that's certified. And those people get notified of any increases or changes in their assessments. Then they have the right to come in to the Board of Assessment Appeals to challenge those amounts. And then after the board makes their decisions, then that's the final total.
So in your March meeting, you'll see something.
Thank you.
Anything else for Gary?
No, even though these percentages are beyond our tolerance, the dollar amount is only, the additional dollar is only about 45,000.
Yeah.
So, pretty good, Garrett. You run a tight ship.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Ken.
Jen, Jim, you want to go next?
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
So, as you can see from our numbers, the big thing is early voting, that we decreased a lot. We were able to run early voting with a lot less people than we had originally budgeted for. We submitted, and the state allowed us to do it, so we ran with what they let us do. And that's what we have lined up for next year. Excuse me. And hopefully they just keep letting us use the amount of people that we want to use. That's why that number is so low. So we had budgeted for 32, and we used 14. So,
So this is a good thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to cover the, it's a $4,000 increase in ballots and primary supplies, I see, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought it was. I
Yeah,
saw the
that also includes includes maintenance on the new tabulators
Okay.
as part of that.
Questions from the members?
It's by far the easiest budget. Always has been.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay?
Very nice. Best presentation we've had, by the way.
Better than finance, right?
Good evening, everyone. Stacy Yarborough, Town Clerk, Tax Collector. Town Clerk is page 20, Tax Collector, page 23. You have all my numbers in front of you. I don't really have much to add because I really didn't make many changes. The only changes were for tax, an increase for the postage / taxum line, and for town clerk, an increase for the indices / land records line item, and that's That one's due to an increase in our land record auditor fees. Everything else remained the same. Question?
And you thought the assessors was easy.
No, it's impressive.
No, thank you for the online access that continues to be very efficient and user-friendly.
Well, it may not be there much longer. The law has changed, and there are going to be some changes coming down the pike that are going to really upset the public, but we'll have to see. Any other questions on either of my budgets? I just wanted to throw out, back in 2024, there was a constitutional question about changing from regular absentee balloting to no excuse absentee balloting. And to date, and maybe it'll happen in this short session up at the state legislature, but they still haven't codified that constitutional question which passed, which would allow for no excuse voting. So I fully expect you guys to ask me questions about my absentee ballot line. I know I'm sure you will, but the point being is that that unfunded mandate from the state, they just haven't gotten around to codifying it, but it's coming, and it's coming soon. I'm hoping it's going to be this session. So just FYI on that.
So Stacy, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, but are you saying it's going to have an impact on your budget?
Not this year.
Okay.
I'm talking about going forward. Heads up. The other thing I was going to mention is that, and it's really not my area to mention, but I would just express my deep concern about the position of the assessor's office and the fact that it is very hard to find assessors in Connecticut right now. And as you know, as both town clerk and tax collector, working with Gary for these last 16-plus years, his job is incredibly important to this town. And to go like East Haven or other towns 4+ without an assessor will have a huge impact on the town. It'll have a huge impact on my 2 offices. I mean, you can't not have an assessor. So I think it's kind of scary right now, but he is sort of irreplaceable. But I am biased because I have a great working relationship with Gary. But that position, it is so important to any municipality. But, you know, Gary is irreplaceable, and he is retired technically, but he worked hard for the town, which is wonderful for us. But what if, you know, he didn't? Where would we be? So I am worried about that position for the town.
I think we share that, but I get from the Board of Finance, it is a funded position, right? So it's not that we don't have the dollars for the assessor, right? And Gary's there. I know, having talked to Rich, what he already stated, which is that we're finding an assessor, right? So.
Well, there might be a reason behind that. I mean, multiple reasons. So, but that's not for me to say. I'm just throwing out there how important it is that we really need an assessor for the town.
I don't think any of us disagree with
and we don't
that.
want to be in a position where we don't have one. Right. Any other questions related to my 2 budgets?
Members?
I did have a question actually about your absentee ballot, because again, we have to go back several years to get a sense for a year in which we had a major election. So in the current year, we've spent about $65 on this, but we'll probably be spending a lot more in the fall. Do you have a sense, based upon the last gubernatorial election, what that absentee ballot expenditure was?
I can't say because I don't know what the state's going to do with regard to the change in the law.
Mm-hmm.
And so it could exceed what my budget is currently. But if they don't act, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's up to them. I mean, it's one thing, you know, when people voted in 2024, yes, they wanted no excuse voting. That only allowed the constitutional question to then go to the state legislature for them to codify that, but they've just not done it. Mm-hmm. And, sort of in limbo, waiting to see what happens.
But that cost of absentee ballots for your department is different from the early voting cost of
It's
the
2 different
election.
things.
2 departments. I handle absentee balloting.
Right.
They handle early voting and, you know, election day at the actual polls.
Right. So the cost of absentee ballot is primarily the cost of the ballot itself, or the processing, or?
It's everything involved with having to come in and vote. We just don't know what's going to happen at this point.
Right.
I mean, listen, we're not the only town, every
No,
single
of course
town.
not. Everyone's in the same boat. I
Yeah.
just wondered if 4 years ago, is us any glimpse as to what?
Well, I mean, see, it's been kind of hard since COVID. Things have changed since COVID.
Sure,
If you
of
went back
course.
before COVID, I could give you a better idea, but since COVID, it's just really been unpredictable because there's just been so many changes in election laws since that time. There really have been a flux of a huge amount of changes.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chief?
I'm just going to need a quick minute.
Sure. Yeah, Chief, is it Wozniak? How's it pronounced?
Wozniak.
Wozniak, okay. I
Yes,
threw an
thank
extra
you for
A- threw an
asking.
extra A in there.
Happens every day.
Yep.
Okay, man.
What's the matter?
Okay, thanks.
I apologize, this is probably going to take like another minute or two.
No
Just-
worries.
So I'll start, and I'll go without the PowerPoint if it doesn't load. I'd like to start out and just welcome and thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For those of you who I haven't had the opportunity to formally address in this capacity, my name is Andrew Stavridis. I'm the Chief of Police. Alongside with me is Joseph Wozniak, Deputy Chief of Police. I'd like to begin by thanking the board for the opportunity tonight to present the Police Department's fiscal year budget for 26-27. We appreciate your time and continued commitment to the fiscal health and public safety of North Haven. As you know, this year marks a transition in leadership for the police department, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize former Chief Kevin Glenn for his many years of dedicated service to the town. We're grateful for him and the previous chiefs who built upon the foundation of the department. I'd also like to acknowledge the members of the Board of Police Commissioners who are here this evening. Their continued guidance and support has been invaluable as we move forward. And most importantly, I'd like to recognize the men and women of the North Haven Police Department for their professionalism and hard work. They are the people that do the work, often in challenging and unpredictable circumstances, and they keep our community safe, and I'm truly proud to lead that group. So with that, I will get into our presentation, and I would ask, if you'd like, you can turn to page 26. I believe this is about launch. Yeah. So as far as tonight goes, what I'd like to start out with is a brief overview of the department today, and then we'll get into our operating budget request, our total capital requests, and our key budget drivers. And after that, we can get into animal control after we do some questions about the police side of things first. So the department today, we are 59 sworn police officer positions. We have 11 supernumerary officers, 12 dispatch positions, 8 full-time, 4 part-time, 2 animal control officers, 3 crossing guards, and 5 non-sworn and clerical staff. That brings us to a total of 92 employees at the police department. We're the largest department on the town side. We have the largest.
May I have your attention, please? The North Haven Library will be closing in 5 minutes. Please bring all items checked out at this time.
So as I was saying, we have the largest budget on the town side as well. We deal with 3 unions, full and part-time employees. We oversee animal control, school resource officers, dispatching police, fire, and EMS, crossing guards for our schools, as well as the clerical staff at the police department. We also, like many departments, think that the universe revolves around us and that we're most important. I do believe that what we do is very significant and it puts the town at a lot of risk and liability. We enter people's homes when they don't want us to. We use force against people. We pursue cars, and we take freedom away from people temporarily. So it's a big deal, and it's important that we're well-funded so we can be well-equipped and well-trained in what our tasks are. So tonight, as far as our operating budget goes, for our line items, there are a lot of lines in our budget. It's roughly a $10 million budget, so I didn't want to waste time talking about $1,500 and small numbers. So my plan is to discuss lines that are material, $10,000 or more movement, or $5,000 to $10,000, but a 20% raise in that line. And obviously, if there's any other lines you'd like to discuss, feel free. So starting with personnel, which is probably the line that will draw most attention, we have an increase from 6.8 million to roughly 7.2 million. It's an increase of 403,000, just under 6% on that line. And a big portion of that is due to contractual pay increases. Factored in there also is 1 new police officer position that I'm requesting, as well as some additional funding that may appear as recruitment replacement. What that is we'll have people who are set to retire, and they will use contractual benefits that they have to advance their retirement. So they stop working for us, but they're still on the books. So now when I want to replace them, I'm paying the replacement, but I'm still paying them. So it kind of becomes problematic because we're paying 2 people for 1 position at that point. So there's some extra funding in there, deal with instances where there's some of that overlap. It's not really effective for me if somebody is not coming to work, but they're on the books for 6 months, and I have to wait 6 months to replace them. It's just delaying the whole process, especially if we're going to be going after a recruit who takes over a year for us to see the benefit of hiring them.
And Chief, why aren't they working?
They have a contractual benefit where they can advance their retirement using accrued sick time.
Advance, meaning they can retire earlier.
Later.
There's a number of departments, when you retire, you get paid out your accrued vacation sick
right.
time.
Yeah.
Police have the option of actually utilize their sick time to advance their end date, which then affects their end date for pension.
When you say advance it, you mean to bring it forward, make it earlier?
No,
So if they had 26 years exactly, and they decide they want to do this, and they have 6 months worth of vacation, their pension would reflect 26 and a half years of service.
So they're using their accrued
It's
vacation, you're saying?
Earned sick time, and, yeah.
So they're getting paid for it, it's going towards a pension, but they're not working?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So this 50,000 would be to replace them with someone earlier who could be actually out in the streets?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Our supernumerary SRO program is an increase of $15,000 from $380 to $395. It's roughly 4%. The SRO program is based off of patrol grade D pay, so even though they're not union employees, they get what a grade D patrolman gets. So they are getting a slight increase, as all police union members are getting an increase. And also, we're utilizing the SROs a little more for after-school events. The schools and the kids like to see the officers that they're used to seeing day at these events, whether they're a dance or a parent-teacher conference. Rather than having a patrol officer work it, it's nice for the staff and the students to see the SROs that they work with daily. In some instances, it's also cost-effective for us to have the SRO there because they work slightly under 40 hours a week. So for a few of those hours, I have to pay them overtime, where a police officer would be on overtime. But because of the grade D increase and the after-school events, multiplied by 7 ROs, there is an increase on that line of about 4%. So our overtime line, I'm requesting to advance it to $940,000. That is an increase of $70,000, roughly 8%. Our overtime is driven by many factors. So those are staffing minimums, contractual raises, significant calls for service, critical incidents, weather, and public events. We historically have been going over our overtime. We do our best to manage it, but I think we've gotten to the point where it's just not enough, and we're kind of putting out officially low numbers. I think it makes more sense to try and find a number that's realistic. I'll give you an example. This past snowstorm we had, Public Works is out there, and they're cutting down snowbanks because there's sightline issues. So when there's a payloader on Route 5 at Blakesley cutting down a snowbank, we have to be out there with them. And that's on for about a week and a half. That comes out of our budget, and that's overtime. So does leaves, so does milling and paving, concerts on the green, Christmas tree lighting, the menorah on the green. There's crime and then fear of crime, and people like to see us at a lot of events, and we like to be there, but that comes with a cost. So overtime has gone up, but we want people to feel safe, and we want people to get the service that they should feel comfortable with when they go to an event. We don't want them to have worry.
Excuse me, Chief.
Yes.
I think I recall Chief Glenn actually secured a grant to cover some overtime overages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that something that is a possibility for you?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yep. We seek out grants. There's rural road grants. There's DUI grants. There's JAG grants that we get. So we do the best we can to get grants, and I'm very confident we will get grant funding next fiscal year as well. But it just doesn't cover enough. We have a better chance when we get grants that they go to the state, and then the state then trickles them out to local municipalities. Any grant where we're trying to get funding from the DOJ, direct from Washington, is very difficult, partly because we're not a distressed community, and that's what is a lot of the criteria. So we lose out when we go after grants on like a federal level a lot of times. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I don't want to become a distressed community just to get a grant. So it's kind of, double-sided.
Good problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But we just have seen that overtime costs, which also include dispatch, where we had some shortages. It's been a problem, keep dispatchers.
That was going to be my next question is, if you had to break down the overage into patrol officers, detectives, and dispatch officers,
Yeah.
what would you say is the
It
mix?
varies. The last year, I'd have to look at, we've had a significant amount of overtime from dispatch. Instead of 8 full-time, we only had 5. It makes a big difference. We just, I think, was it today, their first day? Tomorrow. Today, we started our 8th dispatcher, so we're hoping that carrying us forward, that overtime may go down, but they're all so new, we just don't know if they're going to last. We've seen a lot of people that will get through part of training or get to the end of training and then not make it. So it's been a problem for us, but we're working on it.
I see.
Our holiday line, it's an increase of $15,000. Again, this is driven by contractual raises. It's roughly 5% of that line. And, again, a contractual benefit in addition to their pay raises. Some personnel have a holiday work option, which makes it difficult sometimes to predict how much we'll pay for a holiday. Some of the administrative staff, like detectives or people in a specialized unit, they have an option. So let's say on President's Day, if it was their normal day at work, they could stay home, or they can come in and work, and they'll receive some added benefit. So on Christmas, for example, most people don't work unless they have to. On President's Day, a lot of people work because the world is kind of still functioning and they'd rather come in and get the money. So it varies. So I can't really predict exactly how much holidays will cost me because of that, and then the factoring in of the wage increase holiday pay. Our electricity Depending on where you live, a lot of you can probably relate to this. The cost of electricity has gone up a lot, and we're not immune to that. So I'm asking for a $15,000 increase, roughly 33%, to cover our electrical costs. We were over on our electricity in fiscal year 25-26, and this year, I believe we're near 80% on electricity. So it's a problem. I'm sure other departments are probably facing that as well. So that's why I'm looking for that increase on our electricity line as well. Nearing toward the end for the operating lines here, our body-worn camera line. So this is a significant jump, $74,000 to $92,000. Increase of $18,000, almost 25% on that line. So we're at the end of a 5-year contract with Axon. They supply us with our tasers and our body cameras. So we have to renew that. They offered us a number of different plans. They started out talking about $180,000 per year. We were going back and forth with them for a while. We got them down to $92,000 a year. Overall, they cite rising inflation and technology costs. This is now the current price when they renegotiate with people. I will also tell you, we carry a taser that's 2 models below their latest version. And we're doing that to keep these costs down. If we went with what they call the Taser 10, we couldn't get it below $150,000. I'm comfortable with the model we have, but they've also been talking that in a few years they may not even support it. So what I can tell you is moving forward, we can commit to this $92,000 for the next 5 years, but I imagine that after that, there's going to be significant increases because they're going to stop supporting what we carry.
Just so I know, I understand the body camera part, but why does the Taser have a subscription?
So it's a package deal. Axon provides the body cameras and tasers.
Okay, but the software is mostly for the body cameras?
The data is like storage, yeah, but the tasers themselves are very expensive as well.
But you're not changing your tasers, you're keeping the older ones?
I'm keeping the tasers we have, and we're purchasing 6 additional tasers because of some that need to be replaced and for if we have any new personnel or spares. Yeah. So that covers the taser and the body cam with data. That is all I was going to touch upon as far as our operating lines go. Are there any questions before I kind of get into some of the budget, the drivers of these lines?
Let's just pause for a second, see if the board members have any questions on the operating expense side of this budget.
How many canine dogs do you have?
We have 4.
You have 4.
I put a picture in here for you for one of them. It's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah, so we have 4 dogs.
All right, sounds like there's
Well, just regarding personnel, sworn officers, was it
59.
59?
Yes.
Now, when Chief Glenn left, I think he said that he was satisfied at the moment with the amount of personnel he had. You're adding 1?
So
the request is to add 1? And
yeah.
Now, so is this part of a, what's your future request going to look like?
So
With the 5-year.
I'm glad you said, Chief Glenn said that, not me, as much as me and Chief Glenn are close friends. Chief Glenn also asked for 2 people last year, and we got 1 half year. Okay. So I look at this partly as unfinished business from last year to carry out what Chief Glenn had asked for. He had a number in mind for the police department. I think I'm close to that number, but the world of policing and the dynamics of society changed. So, looking forward, do I think that we're going to need 75 police officers? No. Is 60 going to be the last time I ever ask you for a police officer? I wouldn't say that either. So.
Calls for service and time on task.
Yeah. I mean, this last year, our calls for service were the highest they've ever been. We had 31,000 calls for service. It's up, I think, 74% from what year? 18?
17 going into 18.
So from 2017 to today, our calls for service were up 75%. So, you know, like when you look at crime rates and things, even if crime is up or down, it's not the sole factor for needing police. The demand on the police department seems to be increasing. People call more, people want to see us more, and we're just trying to provide what we think that the people want to feel safe.
Your minimum staffing per shift, is that regulated by the unions, the state, or what sets that?
So I set the minimum staffing.
You set it.
All right, thank you, Chief. Anyone else before we go into animal control?
I have a few more things, and I was going to do the PD capital.
Yep, okay.
Before that. So some of this will be a little redundant, so I'll go through it quickly, but the vast majority of the requests touch upon wage increases and stipends, all of which are contractual. So I don't personally believe there's a lot of leeway in these requests, other than with the addition of personnel. But these lines here, overtime, supernumerary, shift differential, professional development, advanced degrees, EMT incentive, longevity, they're all contractual. So I really can't not provide those things to our people. We also have unfunded mandates, mental health evaluations that we have to do for the entire department, pre-employment polygraph and psychological exams for our recruits, drug screenings and training requirements dictated by the police accountability bill or from post. So there's obviously a cost in getting our personnel hired and then maintaining their certifications. So that is a big driver as well to some of these increases. As far as the utilities go, just unstable pricing. Like I mentioned before, these adjustments are trying to reflect what we think is more realistic rather than just creating arbitrarily low numbers. So we look like we're trying to do the right thing. What we think is realistic, looking at the last full fiscal year, which was 24-25, we were close to 60,000. This year, we're at almost 80% of our line, which is at 45. So we feel 60,000 is more realistic for 26-27. This is probably something that you can't see because it's so small, but essentially what this shows, all those lines in the beginning that are highlighted in blue, roughly 90% of our total budget is contractual or a stipend in their contract, and then approximately 1% are things like unfunded mandates, like the body cam program. I can't stop the body cam program. I can't stop giving people drug tests or polygraphs or psychological exams. So when you add those two up, really, it's about 8% of the department is what's discretionary, in my opinion. At this point, I would get into our capital if there's no more questions on
A
that.
couple of questions. The electricity bill, of course, that is something that we're seeing in a lot of the different departments, but for your relatively brand-new building, which you would hope would be fairly high efficiency, are you seeing that the increase in cost of electricity is due to increased utilization of electricity, or just the rate?
I really think it's more a rate issue. I don't think that we're using more electricity per se. I mean, we're obviously, the building never closes.
Right,
So
24/7.
it's constant. But we don't really see that we're using more electricity. It's more just spikes in rates.
Okay. And as far as the personnel goes, you quote some of the statistics for service growth since 2018. And it looks like, the number of chiefs and captains, lieutenants, and sergeants has remained the same. 2 chiefs, 2 captains, 3 lieutenants, 9 sergeants. But the number of patrolmen since 2018 has gone from 34 to 43. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
and that's why I would feel comfortable telling you today that I'll never want another police personnel, because there may be a day where, when we look at the scope of revision, where we've added police officers, but we also then may need to start adding supervisor position. And I'm not looking for that now, and I don't know if I'll even need it next year, but at a certain point, we may have to consider a supervisor position as well.
At one of those levels or an additional level?
At a sergeant level.
Sergeant level, okay. Okay, thank you.
So for our capital request, cruisers, our request is for 4 police vehicles at the cost of $200,000. And 4 vehicles need upfit to get them patrol ready, and that's $160,000 in upfit for those 4 vehicles.
Chief, why is it 4? I mean, for years I've been on this board, done 3, or why is it 4 this year?
We typically rotate between 3 and 4 per year, and you'll see it on one of the next slides, but I have 8 cars that are over a decade old. In the world of policing, having a car that's 11 years old is almost unheard of. So I think it's appropriate that we try and replace, I can't get much more life out of a police car at year 11.
But you've given a couple of the SUVs to the fire department, correct, recently?
They took at least one vehicle that I think their
Administrative.
their admin guys were using, correct, yep. So for the cars, we believe that getting new cars reduces breakdowns and out-of-service hours on our vehicles rather than always being out and repaired. It also provides a more consistent platform for prisoner transport, and we have more cars available during peak staffing hours. Also, with our new cars, we're transitioning over to a new dash cam system. All our body cam and dash cam is evidence, so it kind of provides a more streamlined evidence capture approach when we do these new cars. So these photos may be hard to see on the video here, but on that first photo, there's some red there in the black. That's tape holding wiring along the center console of the Cruiser. That's like the floor mat and the brake there. The second photo is a seat. Now, if you can tell the plastic that's broken off on the seat, that's also a seat. You can see the seat cushions there that are ripped up. This is mileage on one of our Cruisers. I believe it says 145,000. I can't see the other 3 numbers.
45, yeah.
So that's where I threw your dog in there. So that's K9 Taro's car. 145,000 miles is a lot on a police car. And in policing, mileage is just one factor. Running hours is a big deal. If he's putting 145,000 miles on his car, the running hours are going to be through the roof, especially when and cool in the summer and heated in the winter.
Right.
This car's it's just not going to make it. So
Chief, what's the size of your fleet?
total, like everything, SWAT vehicles, everything.
Whole shebang. Yep.
42. But that's animal control, 2 vehicles, that's just
And
every
how
car.
many patrol cars?
Patrol, I would say about 21 in patrol, and then we have a handful that we use for outside duty. We hold on to them. We do see a little bit, there's revenue that comes back because there's cruiser fees to the contractors. So if we can provide a car, the town gets a little bit back on that. So our older cars sometimes will transition to a road job car. But in patrol, on the road, about 21.
And do you typically utilize the exact same patrol car in
We've had
successive shifts?
There's some changes. I'm sorry, did you say that again?
In successive shifts, meaning shift 1, 2, 3,
Most
exact
cars,
same car.
most cars run constant. The K9 car is different. It stays with the handler, so that's just his car permanently. Our traffic car stays with the traffic personnel because they're outfitted with different types of radar and other features. But for the patrol officers, yeah, those cars are constant. They work 8 hours, they come in for 10 minutes, they go back out for 8 hours. So they're running all the time. And again, 8 vehicles that are a decade old or older. We have a few cars that are 2014s, so they're pushing 12 years old.
And they're utilized?
Not all of them are in patrol. Some of those may be a road job car, but they're still carrying our people. And when you're on a road job, we're okay with a vehicle being old, but at the same time, if you're on a road job and you hear a call for a shooting, you're expected to get there, and you need to get there in a car that's reliable and can get you there safely.
Sure.
So our UPS battery replacement, so this is uninterrupted power supply. So these are batteries that basically bridge the gap between a power outage and our generator kicking on. Our main concern is that communications never go down. So these batteries pretty much run in the background constantly. So if we lose power, the battery covers us for the minute nanosecond that the generator takes to come on. But those batteries are very expensive. They have minimal lives. They don't really work often. They do a few periodic self-tests, but these things just sit for months on end. So they get drained and their life cycle is nearing the end. We've already replaced some, and there's numerous that are in alarm presently that we need to replace. This is just a photograph of what some of them look like. They're stored in these large cabinets. These ones are at the police station, but there's other cabinets like this at other locations within town where we have repeaters. So again, if these batteries go down and there's a power outage, we could have an issue with communications. Not only does it affect the police, but that affects fire, public works, talking with ambulances. So it is essentially a backup to the backup, but it's something that needs to be addressed. I put in there $7,500 just so I can slowly begin to repair maybe 2 at a time. But we recently did an audit of these batteries, and there's a lot more than 2 that need repair. But I think rather than waiting for them to completely die, we should at least start some type of maintenance program and get ahead of this before it gets out of hand. Body armor, I'm sure there probably won't be that many questions about that. We're looking for $8,800 for expiring body armor. It's recommended by the manufacturers that you replace body armor after 5 years, so that's what we've historically always done. Doesn't mean it doesn't work at 5 years in a day, but we feel that it's the right thing to do. And if the manufacturer is saying you should replace it in 5 years, I'm not going to tell one of our people, you're okay, keep wearing it. So we're looking for a modest amount to replace units of body armor that are expiring. So our patrol rifle program, 1 rifle in a car with optics and lights to help increase our capability and response. It allows us to have a faster, more accurate response to modern threats, replace antiquated and unreliable equipment we currently have. Our current rifles are near end or at the end of their life, and it's standardized controls, so it's kind of one singular platform that everyone can be trained on. So I'll show you a couple of brief photos. That is a rifle that we own present day. It's large, it's heavy, that front post can't be moved. That on top, that object there kind of looks like a big bulky handle. And before the barrel on the rails, this is like a very old cone. So this would be a more modern rifle. This is what is going to be in somebody's house if they were to buy an AR-15 present day. It's lighter, it's shorter, it's more ergonomical. On the side of the barrel, you'll see there's like those kind of like oval shapes. It's typically, people will call that an M-lock system. It's for adding attachments quickly. On the top, there's a rail for adding attachments. They're customizable. So this next slide I'm going to show you, it's just for illustration. I'm not saying that this is what we would have in every police car, but it just kind of shows you, and I picked multicolor so they would kind of stand out. On the top of the firearm on the left, there's an optic, there's a laser. On the bottom, there's a front foregrip. They're customizable. That first photo I showed you, it's hard to find something like that present day. Lots of people own items like this. I mean, if this was racing, you wouldn't race a stock car. We shouldn't show up with a stock rifle. If we have to put a rifle, it's a bad day, and we have to be able to outgun what people have in their home. With the exception of a few outliers that are fanatics, we need to update our rifle program.
And you want 19 of these?
What's that?
You want 19 of these?
There'd be more than 19 of those.
In your summary, it says patrol rifle update 19 rifles with accessories. And that's
Yeah.
different from the SWAT rifles.
Correct, that's why. Because then there'd be SWAT rifles too.
7 more of those.
Yes.
And these are all in the AR, AK,
Like a AR-15 platform.
14, 15.
Correct, yeah. Yep. And those guns reflect more of what the tactical officers would have that wouldn't necessarily be in every cruiser. So we have a street sign making machine. Obviously, as you know, our department makes street signs. For some reason, we still see theft of street signs. We have a dozen street signs that we need to create because we've noticed that they're being removed. This allows us for same replacement after storms or crashes when people take out these signs. And it limits the amount of time it takes for the sign to be made. I'm told right now it takes about 45 minutes to make the sign. This is the setup that they use. They have these placards. They have to cut this blue adhesive, put it on the placard, and by hand, they space out each letter, smooth it out, get rid of any air bubbles and whatnot. What people use present day, it's a printing machine. So it prints out the entire street sign. You can town logo on it as well. It does all the spacing for you and the size formatting depending on the length of the street name. And then you just adhere it to the placards that we currently have. So it just cuts down on production time, almost like a 3D printer. It prints out the acrylic and then it goes over the...
So Chief, is this a replacement or outsourcing this right now?
We don't have this right now. Right now, by hand, he takes his placard, and then
that's what you're saying,
that
yeah.
blue,
Okay, right.
he pulls it out, he cuts it,
Yeah.
takes a knife, trims it. He does it by hand, and we're looking to turn it into a machine.
I get it.
How come that's not in Public Works?
We've been doing street signs I've been on, so if they'd like to
think
take
streets
street
are
signs on, I'd let it go.
Maybe even one of your old cars, that might
Yeah.
help them.
Yeah.
Any questions on capital for the chief?
Okay, I'll roll into the animal control. So, the animal control budget compared to the police department is pretty modest. It's $219,000 in total. The total increase I'm looking for is $20,418. About 3/4 of that is for personnel and overtime. The rest is utilities, vehicle maintenance, and building repair at $5,300, which I think is pretty modest considering the age of the building. Their personnel line from $127,000 to $137,000. It's an increase of roughly 7.8% of that line. And that's contractual pay increases for Dave and Crystal, as well as a step up for Dave Carney. I think that's yet to be determined, but I factored it into my budget proposal if he was to receive that step up. That's the figure I'm looking for as far as personnel goes. And their overtime line, it's an increase of $5,100. Just looking at some previous overtime costs, they seem to also run high. And with the wage increase of both of them, even if Dave doesn't get his step up, there's still a contractual increase on them. So a slight increase, even though it's 25%, it's a $5,100 total on the overtime line. And that pretty much sums up animal control. All the other lines are relatively small or little to no change. And I have no capital requests for animal control.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions either on the animal control budget or the police budget, or capital for that matter?
Just a quick question about the part-time dispatchers.
Yes.
Every year, I see this $80,000 line item, and in most years, it's not touched at all. This year, I believe you're running at about 11% utilization.
Yeah.
Given the fact that you've now ramped up to 8 total dispatchers, which
Yep.
is what you're budgeted for,
Yeah.
do you think that you need that part-time in the budget?
I do. So a lot of times what was happening was those dispatchers were working full, they were working union member positions. It was coming to where someone was going to be held over their union. They came to an agreement where they let the part-timers work it because essentially they were getting burnt out. They were getting mandated so often because of our shortages. They were allowing the part-timers to work the full-time personnel's shifts so we can kind of prevent burnout. But a lot of times they were being paid from our overtime line at that point.
Right.
Once we get full staff, I think we'll see a decrease in the amount of shifts that part-timers will work, but we'll still need them because we use them to supplement when we get storms or if we have a significant event and we think that we're going to need more than 2 dispatchers because of call volume, we'll provide them shifts.
So you think both overtime and this part-time line will go down? Both?
That's the hope, yeah.
Okay.
That is the hope.
Anything else from the members for the chief or assistant chief? Okay. Sorry, Diane.
What were you gonna do about the police cars? What's the next step for getting new vehicles?
For getting them?
Yeah, like, how old is your fleet, average?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. I mean, we have cars that are, you know, we have cars that we're taking delivery of them in 2 weeks, and then I have cars that are 12 years old. So it does vary. For example, that K9 car, I have to find money to replace that because I'm not going to get rid of the dog just because I don't have a car. So I'll need to find a way to replace that car. You know, our typical car, we try and get anywhere from 3 to 5 years out of a car, which is pushing it. A lot of apartments do less. We try to get 3 to 5 years. You know, if I had to guess, our average car on the road is probably at least 4 years old, at least.
Are you looking to get another K9 or?
Yeah, not an additional K9, it'll be a replacement. So Taro
Yeah.
is getting old. His handler is going to be getting promoted next week. So Taro is going to be phased out, and that's his car that has the 145,000 miles on it. So it's kind of a good time to segue into a new dog, and obviously we're not going to give a new handler a car with 145,000 miles on it. So, but there'll be a new dog, yes, just not additional.
Yeah, wasn't there 2 a while ago?
2
Dogs, like, wasn't
dogs.
there a
So we have
lab?
Taro, we have Cyrus, and we have Dietz. They're all German Shepherds. And then we have Quella, who's a black lab.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Very
Okay.
good presentation.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Chief. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
My sister-in-law raised my dog was a black lab. And great dog, but didn't cut it that way. He was seeing eyes. And it became a bomb sniffing dog down in New Jersey. Yeah, our handler sent him.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.